All right, boys. I hope everyone had a great week. I'd actually like to kick things off with my own dad win.
Let's hear it.
If that's okay. Yeah. So, as you guys know, we are expecting twins in November. And as if things weren't chaotic enough with 2 kids, 2 more on the way, we've also decided to move house in this period.
Why not?
Because why not? Yeah.
It's not like it's stressful.
Punishment, whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's not like it's stressful.
Exactly. So, we found, thankfully, the place that we want to move into. So we're in the process right now of figuring out what to do with our current house. And transparently, one of the reasons I was kind of anti-moving is the fact that I looked around our current house and was like, we have accumulated a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and
always
grow to the size of whatever you have.
All of our moves prior to this had been apartments, like in the city. And so moving apartments, you kind of look around, you're like, well, I could throw that away, I could just pick up basically a couch and a bed type thing. And this is also our first move since having kids.
We've never had a move. Different story.
Yeah, we've never had a move, post having kids. So I looked around, I was like, this whatever. And my dad win centers around the fact that I have had to do absolutely nothing.
I was going to ask, what weekend are you moving? Because I'm pretty sure I'm busy that.
Yeah, I'm not available that weekend.
I've actually already run it by both of your wives. There will be pizza, and that's it.
Yeah, great.
My Achilles has been killing me lately, actually. I think
I like show up for like a golf day to come pick you up, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
Oh, man, that would be a brutal
That would
prank.
be unbelievable. Imagine if I said, let's go.
Hey, we're going golf and come swing by, pick me up.
That'd be awful. But I want to, and I rarely do this. I rarely give any credit to my family members, but a couple of my sister-in-laws, they effectively, alongside my wife, project managed the whole thing. They had a whole production line going on with the 3 of them, plus they roped in the kids as well to help.
Nice. Yeah.
And I got back home yesterday, and it was impeccable. Like
awesome.
It was unbelievable. And they had also ordered pizza. And I walked on in, there was pizza already there, ate that, went back into my office, was able to do some work. Just perfect.
Nice.
So I want to give a big shout out, and the dad win being I did absolutely nothing, and we are making some real progress with this. So
there you go.
I'll be looking for you guys to help out as and when needed. Well, look, let's jump into the topic this week. So something that is front and center in a lot of social media outlets and news outlets is all around screen time and phones and social media. So figured I'd kick it off with a question. What's your family rule on screen time, phones, and social media? Who would like to kick off?
And you kick it off because you have I think kids that would range the span of all 3 of those.
Yeah. We are. So like we're not TV is like one of those things where during the summer we're fine with the kids watching some TV in the morning.
Yep.
We're not like a TV all day family. It typically gets turned off at breakfast time, and then maybe at night they'll watch something. But it's not every night. But maybe at night they'll watch like a
movie night or
something like that. But we don't do like tablets. Nobody has a tablet. Nobody has a phone up until the age of I think like 13 is right when we start like slowly migrating a phone into their life. And usually that's because that's right around the time. And I think we had like one at 11 or 12 because their sports take over.
Yep.
And it's weird nowadays with sports, a lot of it is like, okay, you're going to go do this thing. Text me when you get back. Like my one son in middle school, like he'd go to play basketball somewhere and we wouldn't necessarily know when the bus gets back. And there's no like pay phones or anything, and so he'd text us, okay, I'm gonna be back in 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah. What age is that, or what grade is that typically around 13? Is that like 8th grade?
13 is like 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, somewhere in that. I think it was 12 when he got us, was like between 7th and 8th grade.
What kind of phone are we talking?
So here's the thing. We don't like until you're 16 years old, you get we and this is I guess a shout out to Bark. I don't know if you guys have heard of Bark. It's BARK. Okay. I think it's bark.us is their website. It is a parental guidance smartphone. So what they do is they take like a Samsung Galaxy or whatever. They load their own operating system on.
Bark is a piece of software.
It is a piece of software.
Okay.
But the phone you get is actually like a Bark phone, to where it's completely like they've taken Android and like layered over the Bark whatever interface on it.
Sure.
And it restricts most things from them. And it I have an app on my phone that I can turn on and off apps, allowing them to either download apps or not download apps.
Interesting.
As well as it analyzes every text message that goes through.
Yeah.
And anytime social media, like if we open up a social media app, what's being done in the social media app? What this allows us to do is it has AI to tell you if there's bullying or any of those sort of things.
Yeah.
So right around 13 or 12 or 13 is when one of those phones comes in. And it's really to start training our kids to be like, okay, this is important to, number one, know how to use these, respect the technology in a certain way, also understand the flexibility. And it allows us to make, they can't just add contacts or call anybody. It has to be in their phone. We have to approve the contacts that go in that phone.
Through the app or manually?
Through the app.
Oh, wow.
Cool. So the app will notify us being like, hey, kid number one wants to add this phone number. And then we go hey, who are you trying to add? And, we will add it or we won't add it. So we've got a whole bunch of rules that we can get into.
Not to derail you, but so if they add a contact, what's stopping them calling that contact Domino's Pizza and it being so and so?
Well, I mean, the whole point I would say, and this is always going to be the issue, is is your child being honest with you?
Yeah.
So they'll put in the contact and we go, oh, who's this?
Sure.
And they'll be like, oh, it's whatever so and so from school, and they're typically pretty honest about it. But the catch is we can then watch all of their text messages going on that.
Every time your daughter puts one in, you're like, denied.
Pretty much. So if it's if they've got the whole vernacular of what a pepperoni pizza is in their own terminology, maybe they can get away with the Domino's thing. But for the most part, that's kind of the structure. And then at 15, right around 16 years old, we start taking off the reins. And my 17-year-old, he just has the standard iPhone, whatever smartphone.
Okay, so that's screen time. That's phones. What about social media?
So social media is pretty much outlawed in our house.
Wow.
I don't have, my wife has social media. She's had Facebook for a while. Instagram kind of goes back and forth. I've never had, I think I had a Facebook account literally 20 whatever years ago when it kind of came out. When Facebook was just for universities.
Yeah.
That's when I had a Facebook account. I have not had a Facebook account since then. And in fact, Chief Data Officer is the only reason I started an Instagram account. I didn't have an Instagram account before this. So we're not a social media family outside of, I think it's called Be Real Be Real, BEREAL. So the idea is once a day, everybody's phone gets a notification and you take a picture of whatever you're doing and then you share it with this small circle. So we allow that because it's very I guess focused, and it's not like you're just browsing a bunch of pictures
localized
all day. It's whoever's in your group, you'll get the feed from them that day, but it's not like you're going to just pour through feeds all day long.
Yeah.
So and we've done that, and again, that is with the Bark phones. It allows us to know who they're talking to on Be Real.
Gotcha.
But that's the only amount of social media. I think my oldest son now does go on Instagram, and we're kind of fine with that at this point. But man, there is so much stuff out there. It is so hard to tell what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And so for us, we've just taken this approach of we're never going to say, we're not going to say once you're, a late teen, we're not going to be like, hey, you can't do this. It's whatever. But we want to just make sure we have the opportunity to train you and really, show you the negative side of it. So actually a book I think turned me on to is Anxious Generation.
I've actually got some stuff around the anxious generation that I want to touch upon.
But and so I won't go into it necessarily, but what that really queued up is before you get to go to a full-on smartphone, you have to read the book.
Yep.
In our family, and then we sit down and we talk about
That's
it.
That's a good rule.
And so my daughter, who is kind of on the cusp of that, she's reading through this book, and she was like, Dad, I had no idea that, and she starts talking about how they create these habits that they, basically make people want to continue using these applications and stuff like that. So anyway, I kind of went a little deep there, but we do have some sort of a structure associated with it. And I would not say the rule is black and white, where it's the moment you turn 12, you get a phone or, anything like that. It's more of do we think that individual has the maturity level to do it? And then outside of that, what is the requirement around, participate?
Well, you must be on the cusp of it, right? If you
we're
think
getting
about
close there
kids.
because I have one turning 10. But I like those rules, Andrew. Maybe you could write that down for me. And, put in a little pamphlet, maybe ebook. No,
have you read the book?
No, my wife actually just finished reading it, so I'm next to be queued up. But I was going to ask, have you guys seen a documentary called Childhood 2.0?
No.
It follows in some of the similar, from what I can tell, veins of the book. But to your point, Andrew, they literally put a profile on Facebook, and then they have a timer going live, and it's I think it's 10 seconds before someone tries to email this girl or DM this girl.
Yeah.
It's a fake account, obviously, but so it was very eye opening.
Bunch of weirdos out there, man. Like you guys have all girls,
right?
I have obviously a mix, but my she's 15. My 15-year-old daughter, dude, the stuff even on Be Real, which is kind of hard to find people on Be Real, is shocking. The amount of like advances that they get compared to like my son. My son's just like whatever. Nobody cares about nobody cares about a 17-year-old boy.
No.
But like she's good looking, number one. But the amount of stuff that she gets unsolicited, I'm just like this is insanity.
So that's why I wanted to touch on social media, and I'll go into the anxious generation in a second. Is because when we were growing up, you were taught about strangers or stranger danger, right? And it was like a physical presence. Yes. Hey, when you go to the park, if someone approaches you, this is what you do. Hey, if someone does this or they offer you this, always say no. Or if someone says get in the car, it's become so different. Yeah. And it's coming from all different sort of sides. And so this book, The Anxious Generation, is written by a guy called Jonathan Haidt. And I'll read you a quick synopsis of this. And his core thesis is around the following. So around 2010 to 2012, childhood fundamentally changed. Outdoor independent play was replaced by smartphones and social media, and this phone-based childhood has triggered a historic surge in anxiety, depression, and self-harm among the youth. And it's specifically young girls under the age of 14.
Yep.
They get hooked on social media, and he effectively likens it to like giving them a slot machine in their pocket and expecting them to be able to operate in the world. It's that dopamine hit that these girls are in particular sort of seeking. And he said in the period between 2010 to 2015, ER visits for self-harm by teen girls increased by nearly 190%, and teen suicides rose 134% for girls aged 10 to 14 and 51% for girls aged 15 to 19. And effectively, the meta research around it all is the fact that the mass adoption of smartphones and social media is intrinsically linked to all of that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you add into the fact that with this, and again, he calls it a phone-based childhood versus this independent play, and you touched on it last time around what your kids are trying to do, is even though you reference constant surveillance and trying to figure out ways to monitor what your kids are doing, the book also refers to the fact that kids are just smarter now.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And so you could say, hey, you can't have an Instagram. They'll find a way to create burner accounts. And there's one story in particular where a girl found a way to create like these like specific folders where it looked like she was like clicking into like her calculator and it was going into like her Instagram page. And then there's thoughts and studies around sort of neurological vulnerabilities that children have as well. And actually it starts as early as the age of 2. Forget social media, forget phones. It's all to do with screen time.
Yes.
So what do you think, what are some of the things that like your kids are watching at home? Because I was doing a bit of research around specific shows that have positive and negative effects.
I'd say Bluey is like one of the kids' favorites if they're watching something.
Yeah, and something we've noticed, and I'm not trying to steal any of your thunder here, but something we've noticed that's crazy is the way our kids act after they watch. Like if I turn on a Disney movie, and I'm just like, hey, you're going to watch an hour and 45-minute Disney movie versus you're going to watch 17 episodes of Bluey or whatever the heck Bluey episodes. They get more like, irritable is the wrong word, but more like excitable when they watch these like 5 or 15-minute, episodes of whatever. It is like they almost get more excitable than when they're just sitting there watching this whole Beauty and the Beast of story, whatever it might be.
So you touched on it.
I don't know what you have down.
So you touched on it, and I'll explain exactly why. So it's all to do with this the sort of the fast cuts of the TV screen. So you've got low stimulation shows versus fast-paced cartoons that are deemed high stimulation shows. So just 9 minutes, and they're called fast cut cartoons. So think of like Cocomelon as the perfect example. Okay. Cocomelon is fast cut pace that affects kids from a neuro sort of standpoint, right? And it says it effectively impairs their executive function and attention in preschoolers. Just 9 minutes of that can alter how your brain perceives things. And so by watching that and being sort of 15 minutes that you touched on, by just watching for 15 minutes, if you ever notice when you touch it off, it's almost like an addict.
Yeah.
Like your kids are
It's like they turn into monsters. Yeah, I have my daughter, my one daughter, I'll be like, hey, hey,
Yeah.
because like she'll be so irritable, and so I started being like, hey, you're turning into a monster. I need my girl back. You know, and she's kind of that like helping her a little bit get out of it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, she'll just whine and complain, put it back on, and you're like, what just happened,
Dude? YouTube Shorts are the bane of anybody who's got a kid who's of the age of like YouTube, like being able to watch YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, the Instagram Shorts, I think that whatever Instagram
Yeah,
has.
whatever the Shorts
Dude,
are.
even as an adult, you get sucked into these
that's-
things,
oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, "Holy crap!
Yeah, what
I
have
just
I been
spent
doing?"
20 minutes
the
flipping
same
through
thing.
these stupid
It-
things."
It's the fast cut nature of it that just keeps going, and you just stay sort of in a trance. So from a low stimulation standpoint, for anyone interested to know which shows that kids should be watching, Bluey is number one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bluey's number one. Says praise for realism, emotional intelligence, and imaginative play. And so it's got real life
Was
dynamic.
this report written by Bluey?
It's from our listener James who wrote in.
I was gonna say it might have been Bingo. Right? He was writing it for
Survey taken from.
Well, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. Have you guys seen Daniel
Tiger. Yeah, my kids like
those
that.
are. I think a lot of the PBS shows are pretty
That's
solid.
that's
I
right.
think Daniel Tiger.
Daniel
PBS.
Tiger's- that's
Blue's Clues
PBS.
PBS.
Yeah,
Blue's
I'm not
Clues
sure
is
they were too.
Blue's
Are
Clues
they?
is on here as well. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood,
Yeah.
Trash Truck, Bluey. Those are all good ones. But anything fast paced, Peppa Pig is right at the bottom.
I don't know. I don't know Cocomelon or Peppa Pig. I know the names. I
Yeah.
don't, I've never.
Yeah.
I don't think we've
Awful.
ever watched.
They're
them.
like-
They're
yeah.
awful. Peppa Pig is like, and I know I think I touched on this once before. We did watch Peppa Pig the movie. Everyone had a great time at the movie theater. But it's if you've ever sat down and watched it,
Yeah.
because when you
You get like tired when you're done with it. You're like, oh man, I feel like I ran a marathon.
no, you
now you're hungry for bacon.
the kid, the pig is so sassy and rude.
Yeah,
So-
Everything
so
is
that's
negative.
you have to pay attention
You
to
have
those
to-
characters.
You have to pay
Yeah.
attention to what's going on. Like
we
with the
will not watch shows that have that sort of like
Yeah.
attitude behind them.
How do you know?
I'm saying like if we're
When you
watching,
put
like
it on.
Bluey's a
Yeah.
pretty good show.
Yeah.
Like rarely do they ever.
Yeah.
I always hate how they'll try to make fun of the dad and they're like, "Oh, Dad, you're an idiot." I'm like, "Why does the dad always got to be an idiot?"
I know,
Like
right.
ever since Married
No,
with
Dad,
Children
you're
come
so
out, like,
handsome and you're-
yeah, exactly. But what I do like is the dad always does kind of push back on that narrative,
Yeah.
and he is always like kind of the hero in
Yeah.
the in
Yeah.
the
He comes
through.
movies.
He
Yeah,
comes
he always
through.
seems to come through.
I heard an
which is
interesting,
funny.
I guess, fact too. But they say for kids, the bigger the screen, the better.
the bigger the screen.
So
the
like
better.
going to,
Okay.
to the movie theater, watching
Yeah.
a movie
Yeah.
is great. Or even if you're watching a TV show at home is better than an iPad or which is better than a phone.
Yeah.
So it's like for whatever reason, when you get the phone locked in 2 inches from your face,
Yeah.
that's doing
My
apparently
kids
the
hate
most
TV.
harm.
My kids can't do it.
The TV or the like.
Just in general, watching a show.
But they like do they like it on the tablet then?
No.
Or oh,
No.
really?
All they want to do is to like not rough play, but like they just want
Yeah.
to play,
Yeah.
independently play, either with
That's
each
awesome.
other
Yeah.
or with
Yeah.
us.
That's awesome.
And well, there are times when you're like, please take the screen.
Well, when we only had like when our oldest, when we had our top 3 kids, like we rarely watched
Yeah.
TV. There was no Saturday
Yeah.
morning cartoons.
Yeah.
They're too young to kind of grasp that concept.
Yeah.
But once you start getting like the 8, 9, 10-year-old where they're groggy in the morning, there's kind of, and then everybody kind of gets trained on it. But like our youngest 3 or 4 kids right now, they do not watch morning cartoons.
Really?
They're all playing. They're
Yeah.
doing whatever, coming in my
My
room.
kid's the same way.
It's super aggravating.
Yeah.
But like, is your 10-year-old the same way, or would she be
She
comfortable?
actually is.
Well, she's a big reader too. I'm
she
sure,
loves
right?
to read, so
Yeah.
she'll like pop in and out.
Yeah.
It's more the younger one sometimes when you just you need a minute.
Yeah.
Which is that's the trap, right?
Yeah.
Because it is so easy.
Oh, 100%.
It's such an easy thing.
Yeah.
To like go sit over there.
Yeah.
But I found even our little 2-year-old, like she'll only sit there for a few minutes, and she'll be like start wandering around, getting in trouble. But like
Yeah.
my 4-year-old, she's the one that could get mad. Like when
Yeah.
you turn it off. So I don't
Do you
know
guys,
if it's the
do you
age
guys
range.
limit? Do you guys limit screen time?
We do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Same way. We don't have the TV on all day, and they don't watch TV that often.
Yeah. Do your kids watch TV in the car?
No, absolutely not.
We don't.
Only on
don't.
long road trips. We'll
Long
do
road
movies,
trips, but
yeah.
we'll do it's only movies. So we'll do like we pre-download the stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
To where we know exactly what they're going to watch, and we give everybody has like tablets, and
Yeah.
they'll typically share tablets. And then like the other thing is when we go out to eat, we made the mistake of getting into a habit. When we had a bunch of little kids, we'd get into the habit of like, okay, when we go out to eat as
Yeah.
a family, every once in a while, I'd give them my phone and put on like whatever PBS show. The app that I let them play with is my PBS app, the PBS
Yeah.
Kids app, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'd give them that.
Yeah.
But then it's like it's okay for like 15 minutes. And then it starts divulging into like, well, I want to watch this episode of this thing. And this
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
why did I even start this? So now we will not do it unless it's like we reach a point where it's like, okay, we have to calm this one kid down. But if you're of the age of being able to understand what we're saying and be able to respond back, which our youngest is, he turns 3 in October, to where it's like he's getting to that point where we don't need to do it anymore. But yeah, we'll sometimes cheat with the phone at the restaurant. But if you watch others in the restaurant with their kids with their phone, like, I don't think it makes it any easier. You might have a few moments of quiet, but then the kid gets angry, something's happening, they'll throw the phone.
Well, the worst one is where they accidentally like scroll down, or they accidentally pull the taskbar down, and they've accidentally pressed another button. Exactly. Now they're in a different app, and they've accidentally texted someone, like
sent that photo you didn't want them to
see.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just sent What about pressure from other families? Like, and maybe this is one for you, Andrew. Like, how do you think about your kids when they're at school? Do they come home and they're sort of comparing themselves to other kids as it relates to phones and social media?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that is, I think, the hardest part about it. It's not just friends at school. It's also like internal, like their cousins, what their cousins are allowed doing, what their cousins get at that certain age versus what they get at a certain age. And so we're constantly, battling is the wrong word, but I would say we're constantly like trying to educate them on, hey, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, to where even when they're on their computers and on their tablets and stuff like that, we're like, you shouldn't be hiding away in your room on these things.
Yeah.
Only bad things happen from that.
Do your kids have TVs in their rooms?
No, absolutely not.
We're
so
not
no TVs in the room. Obviously, their phones kind of go with them. At night, and this is something we battle. This is a battle. Like, we always want the phones to be charged in the kitchen at night.
For everyone?
For everybody. So then it's a central place, meaning you're not texting somebody. Because we all know nothing good happens after like
that's a good hack.
Midnight,
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's like
that's like the boomer hack. Like your parents always like, "Where's my charger?" They always have it one spot in the kitchen.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? That's just the spot.
That the phones get charged in the kitchen. Any sort of like laptops, tablets, anything like that. Unless they're like even then, we basically say it's got to stay on the main level of the house, which is kind of the general living. Nobody has bedrooms on the main level, and we don't care if they're sitting on the couch or doing whatever. But the idea is like, for young guys, the idea of pornography being available so easily nowadays, the idea is to limit that, and then for young girls to be approached or solicited in a lot of the ways you talked about. It's like it reduces it if you're not alone and you don't even start playing with that far. Because you mentioned like kids are smart; they can create all the little icons. They know all this stuff. Like we had an issue where like we didn't realize Pinterest has a messaging platform.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
And so my daughter was on Pinterest, and dude started messaging my daughter, and she's chatting like, oh, whatever. It's just people, and we end up finding out about it. It's just like, what is going on in this world? That even Pinterest, we're all supposed to be this home decor. I thought it was a chick site for home decor. That's what I thought Pinterest was.
I still think that's what it is.
And it's like, no, they've got this whole messaging side of it. And then YouTube and Instagram are dumping all their shorts on Pinterest. So there's the same sort of vibe of like,
oh, wow.
So it like, wow. So it's a constant battle. It's a battle worth fighting as parents.
Yeah.
And then,
have you guys ever thought about teaming up with like other families? Because again, the anxious generation
we talked about that.
Yeah, because the anxious generation talks about delaying social media until at least age 18, right? And
18?
16.
Okay.
My bad.
Social media.
Social media. Sorry. So social media until age 16. And it's
like, here's your pack of cigarettes, kids, and you can have Instagram. Go serve in the military and Facebook. Instagram.
I think I'd rather my kids smoke at age 13 than be on social media at age 13.
Genuinely, it's probably less harmful.
That might be a good social media experiment. Might be a good experiment, actually. Let's start with your kids. Give me a 13-year-old.
There was this guy, so my parents tried to prevent me from smoking, which it didn't work. But there was a guy who's, we talked about the ice cream man before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was one of those guys who smoked heavily, and he had to get his like trachea out.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, "You have to pay me." You ever see those things where they like plug the thing in to get the audio on the vocal cords? Yeah. So that always creeped me out, but I still smoked.
Well, the point I was going to make about other parents and families is where my daughters go to school right now is the principal actually knows the guy who wrote this book.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh,
and they are mulling over making the school a phone-free school. So at that point, no kid or parent then feels pressured by another family because every family has signed a pact to say we won't do phones at school or we won't do social media at a certain age. Now, obviously, kids have older siblings and they might find a way around it.
Yeah.
But then none of that parental guilt comes in, or even like the fear of missing out for children that they just don't They don't.
That's kind of the excuse that I hear the most often is just like, well, they that's how they're gonna know what's going on with their class. Their homework's all emailed. Like sports is all text message.
It 100% is.
Yeah.
So like all my kids that go to school, like everything is online. And now it might not be phone, right? It might not be phone or social media based, but it's all online. So it's like you're still giving them a laptop. You're still which I don't know if your kid's school gives out laptops yet, but
in class they have.
Yeah, they'll start giving out laptops every single year. Everybody gets their Google Chromebook, and then the other side of it is like kids don't hang out the way they used to.
No.
So there's tons of texting that goes on. There's tons of that sort of communication that goes on to where you do look at it and you go like, okay, even those people who are going to sign the pact, because we've had the same thing. We signed this pact, not going to do this, whatever. The moment they walk out that door, the phone's on, right? Like, so it's like, and the parents want a babysitter. So they go, here, your iPhone 16, it's a babysitter. Don't bother me until dinner time, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And so the challenge is like being like, I don't really care what the world has to say about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We as a family have chosen this. And if I get you to age 18 and you turn around and hate me because I didn't let you have a phone for the last 4 years, but you didn't go commit suicide and all the other crap you just talked about, it's a win.
It's a win.
Totally.
I'll take it.
Plus, I let you smoke. It's even better. Well, what's really funny is before we jump into lightning round and that section is I told my wife that we were doing this topic, and she was like, you know what would be an interesting question is if you could eliminate social media. But the only way to eliminate social media was to take down the entire internet. Would you do it? So you now don't have access to anything. There's no Google. Think back to the days pre-internet when if you needed to do a study or
would all my companies that are based off of internet,
seriously.
The internet does not exist.
But
anymore.
do those get transferred into some other like
entity? Yeah. Well, whatever. Like
Okay.
it's no different to like previously like accounting records that were in books before.
I would. Yeah, man. I think I'd be okay with it.
It's a tough one.
I said to her, I was like, think back to when corporations were around predating email. Now you're available 24/7 because you can email someone. Yeah. How did you get in touch with someone?
Fax machine back in the day.
Even then, pages. I mean, pages are still the 90s.
Pagers were fine. Even that though, like pagers. So like if you had but we could have cell phones, right? For like SMS because SMS is internet. Yeah. Right.
Sure.
SMS and so if it was only text, like dude, that's all I would care about.
That's really all
like that. That would be awesome. Genuinely would probably be an awesome.
I also feel like we're hypocrites as parents because you're often like, get off your phone.
Oh, yeah.
And my screen time, and it's usually
what is your screen time?
I don't know actually.
What is your screen time? Now I will say I use my phone for business a ton.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I'm on it all the time for emails and everything. But my screen time.
Well, how do you just randomly pull it up?
If you got to be like taking your screen time, like you got to be like.
So I noticed though my phone. This is gonna sound such a cop out.
Yeah.
When I got my new phone.
Yeah, sure.
When I got my new phone, it was like I think normally I was like below 2 hours, and my new phone it would said I was. And I didn't change anything. It was like, you're at like 5 or 6 hours. And I'm like, what is going on? So it's a known issue, I guess, with some Apple phones.
Oh, here we go.
It's a known issue.
Because I would say mine too, because I use the GPS when I drive, like the Waze app, right? If you're like,
does it?
If you're like, yeah, I would guess so.
No, but it'll give you a breakdown. So
I just pulled mine up. So what's yours? What's your screen time? What's your daily average?
My daily average is 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Mine's 3.
Yeah. So 2 hours and 30 minutes.
You know what that means, though.
Well, see, here's the catch. I'll watch like a Netflix show after I put the kids to bed. I'll be sitting upstairs,
right,
and I'll watch. So, like, if you look at my screen time, my entertainment's 2 hours because I'll just of the last week.
It includes your text messages on here as
yeah. So, like, it's a total time for the entire week was 10 hours and 3 minutes.
Mine was 9 hours and 2 minutes
for total screen time.
Total screen time. Yeah.
So how do you have a higher average?
Well, that average you just said was different categories, right?
Yeah, but it's a total screen time combined.
I'm telling you guys, you just proved it right here. Okay,
I don't know.
There's some glitches in the system.
The idea is
the listeners don't need to listen to us arguing.
I'm on Safari because I do a ton of like research on my phone as well. Out of that, it's 2 hours. And
I like how we're justifying every one of these. Well, I do a lot of work and I do a lot of research.
But no, I would say that's
it does. I have an hour and 15 minutes of just text messages.
Me too. Yeah. Mine's like an hour and 29.
But that seems like a reasonable amount for an adult. But there's kids that spend 7+ hours.
Actually, I would be interested if people pulled up their screen time what that would.
Yeah,
look like.
I'd love to see what the average screen
pull that
time
up with your spouse. All right, let's move to lightning round. I've got some questions for you guys. I don't know. Did we ever get clarity on the horse-sized toddler versus the... All right, here's a few. So you have to watch 3 hours of Cocomelon uninterrupted. No phone, nothing. You are locked in for 3 hours, but you can golf all weekend if you do that.
I couldn't do it. That's one show that I couldn't.
I've never watched
couldn't do 3
Cocomelon.
hours.
I have no idea what a Cocomelon
I couldn't do 3
is.
hours
What about
of
Blippi?
it.
Do you know Blippi?
No.
Cocomelon's the worst.
Blippi's on cocaine. That guy is on cocaine.
I'll just take your guys' word for it and be like, I'd rather not
Yeah.
do that. I don't want all those brain cells to die.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, you let your kid control the TV all weekend, or you let your wife control the thermostat setting in the house for the month.
For the month. I'm indifferent to either of those.
Are you really?
I
My
don't
wife
care
and I
about
run at such different temperatures.
I don't care.
Ours
I
kind
don't
of stays
care.
the same. I would give it to my kids because I think that would be kind of fun, actually.
My kids
for a minute.
do run the TV. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely never sit down and watch TV ever. Like I'll watch on my phone when I'm putting a kid to bed and then I'm done whatever. After that, I'll never watch TV. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
All right. Peppa Pig. I don't like how many hours they've given here. Let's change this up. Would you watch Peppa Pig for 3 hours straight? It says here with full eye contact, no phone, or you give up your phone time on the toilet.
I give
yeah.
my phone time.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the toilet.
Me
Would
too.
you really?
I would.
I read
too.
a lot on the toilet. Like I go
Like
back
an actual
old school
physical book?
Oh yeah.
The magazine rack next
Yeah.
next to you.
Use the pages to wipe off?
So, I mean, we did it for a long time before a phone.
It's so true.
You're right.
I used to just pick up like shampoo bottles and read the
Oh yeah, absolutely.
ingredients
The,
on
the
that.
biggest thing, the reason why I started doing this, because like you'll sit there for a good amount of time longer than you need to if you're on your phone,
Oh yeah.
100%.
and it's like
It's actually
I'm just
really
like,
bad. It's actually really bad for you.
dude, it's terrible to just sit there.
Yeah.
like
Right.
for physically,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
terrible
yeah.
for you to
Yeah.
do that.
I did peripherally read something, and my wife always sends this to me. She's like, "You're gonna get hemorrhoids. You're
Yeah,
gonna get
100%,
hemorrhoids."
100%.
All right. Would you rather be stuck in a car with Baby Shark on repeat, or you let one of your kids pick your outfits for the entire month to work?
I think I've had Baby Shark on repeat in my car.
So
would
by
be-
choice?
I mean, I
gosh,
can
that
tune
would
it
be
out.
brutal.
I can tune it out. Yeah, I think
I don't know
I'd
if
be
I would
okay with
survive,
that.
man, because I always have a song in my head, like, and I
Yeah.
don't think I could survive with that song in my head. So I'm taking the outfit.
How long
choice.
are we in the car for? Is it?
It just says on repeat.
Yeah, I think I'd be
yeah,
okay with that.
yeah.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Would you watch Frozen every single night, start to finish, for a week, or go to Costco on a Saturday with all your kids by
Costco.
yourself?
I'll
Costco,
go
man,
Costco.
hands
Not
down.
your wife. You take your
Dude, I rise to the occasion. I love that stuff.
Wow.
But,
Okay.
I do that anyway.
Here's the thing. That sounds, what you just described, it sounds like a week when my wife's not home. Every night, Frozen's on. We watch the entire movie, and we go to Costco, on Saturday. You've just described
That's
my week
right.
when my wife's
That's
gone.
great.
Sorry. Describe your ideal week.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay. Let's see. Ban screens for a day and personally entertain your kids for 12 hours straight with zero internet. So you can either ban screens for the day or personally entertain your kids for 12 hours straight with zero internet.
Oh, we do that regularly.
I was gonna say the
You can
same.
do 12 hours straight, no internet?
Yeah, regularly. No, I'm not saying no internet in the sense of like,
Stream music. We put music
like
on.
stream music, or
Okay.
like if I go and like,
yeah, that's
I,
pedantic. Yeah,
yeah, if I go,
that's
but like
fair.
act like true
Yeah.
like internet consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Same
do
with
that.
us.
We'll do
Yeah.
that regularly. Like,
Okay.
I would say once or twice a month we do that.
Okay, last question. Would you rather fight a horse-sized toddler? Let's move it on. Dad interest this week. What do we?
I've got
what do we
one.
have?
I've got a dad interest this week. I always feel like we're just like shouting out other things.
Why not?
But
Yeah.
I've just discovered a new podcast. It's not new. The guy's been around
Okay.
for a couple years, but it's How to Take Over the World is the name of the podcast. And it is such a cool, like, what he does is just a very cool way of taking the great conquerors of, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be like Rockefeller, or I'm like listening to Genghis Khan right now, and it does a deep dive into their, like he does a study on it, does a deep dive into it, and then kind of brings forth and kind of recreates these people in a a fun, engaging way.
Yeah. These like 6-hour podcasts, or these
no. He does like probably 2-3 parts, an hour each, and then he'll have end notes that he basically says like, hey, these are interesting things that. So it's a really consumable way of doing it, as opposed to sometimes you get a podcast and it's 3-4 hours long and you're just like, oh gosh, but it moves along pretty swift. But like Genghis Khan, guys, dude. What an absolute G! Like we're doing a podcast on dads and I think in some ways we talk about the value of dads in a kid's in a kid's environment and stuff like that. And Genghis Khan didn't have a father, and I'm not suggesting that's why he Genghis Khan'd everybody, but
is that the verb?
Yeah, it's a verb. It's gotta be
made it up. But the the idea of like the lack of protection that he had growing up is what really forced him into a lot of what like his life ultimately became in a weird abstract way. But anyway, I Take Over the World podcast.
What's it called? How to Take Over
How to Take Over the World.
Yeah.
Or Take Over the World or How to Take Over the World. I think it's How to Take Over the World.
Yeah, okay.
It's a great podcast. I suggest anybody.
Yeah, we'll link to it.
Anybody to do it. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, How to Take Over the World. It's just a great podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Really cool podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Why don't you take us home, Matt?
Yeah, well, guys, we want to hear from you. So if you guys got thoughts on the topic today or other topics you'd like us to talk about, we want you to be part of the community. So find us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, Instagram.
Everywhere, baby.
Everywhere. And drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you guys. So until next time.
Cheers. Take care.